Feel the power of your determination taking control of your breathing. Feel the power of your presence, your gift, right now in this moment. Now think about you doing your best today on all the exercises we do together in the gym of life. See, we are so powerful. We get to think, create, imagine in our minds, and make real in the world. And that goes with everything. The way we do our exercises to the best of our ability is the same way we can do anything to the best of our ability. Alright, good morning, determination. How's everyone today? Here we are again, another day in the gym of life. Again, circumstances may not be ideal. Perhaps this is not exactly where we want to be right now, but we're going to make the best of it. So let's do this together. Here we go. When I say go, we're going to start jogging on the spot. Or if you want, you can simply do your best walk on the spot. Okay? Here we go together. And go. Always doing our best with whatever we got, whatever we've been given. The gym of life is everywhere, never ends. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever your situation is, if you're here right now watching this video, we are together, we are united, mind and body. Alright, let's feel that body warming up, the blood starting to flow. Keep going, almost there. and stop. All right. Walking back and forth, side to side, within the space that you have, or simply walking on the spot if that's all the space you have. Again, feel the power of you regaining control of your breathing. Showing your body who's boss. Showing your mind who's boss. The way we take control of that breathing, same way we can take control of our lives. One breath at a time, one thought at a time. All right, everyone, let's do some shoulder rolls. Here we go. Shoulder rolls, 10 forward. And backwards. Once again, feel the pure joy of you, your presence, your being right here, right now. Feel the gratitude that you can show for being able to move your body. All right, arm circles forward, 10 forward. And backwards. Okay, hands on our hips, bend our knees, and let's side stretch. 5 on each side. Keep those knees bent. Alright, and let's twist our bodies. 5 on each side again. Feet flat on the floor. Just twisting our hips. Alright, let's do 5 push-ups, everyone. That's 5 push-ups, here we go. If you got to keep your knees down on the ground, you can do that. Okay, 5 sit-ups. All right, let's do 5 squats. Here we go. Best 5 squats ever. All the way down, all the way up. Good. All right, let's do lunges. 3 on each side. Arms out. Okay, let's do 10-second plank. Belly's knees off the ground. Alright, good everyone, excellent. And stand up. And let's reach for the ceiling or the sky, wherever we are. Here we go. On your toes. Hold it for 10 seconds. Feel the power of you reaching. Doing your best, no matter what. Alright. And let's reach for our toes, straight knees. Again, it's okay if you don't touch your toes, just reach. Safely, without hurting yourself. You should just feel a pull. You shouldn't feel pain. Okay, come on back up. And let's work on our balance. Grab one leg. Find that balance. Bend the other knee if you have to. And pull back your heel towards your bottom. Pull that thigh back. Hold it for 10 seconds. Feel the power of you finding your balance right now. And switch. The other one. Feel the power of all of us together in this moment, united, doing our best together on these stretches and exercises. Alright, and switch. This time hug your knee, the other side. Hard to find that balance. Think about what you're doing. Hold it there for 10 seconds. switch, the other one. Again, bend the other knee as you pull one up and hug the one knee. Okay, good. All right, and let's
Magic System, Red One, Shaoki. Hey, yo, c'est le fun. Feel the magic. Comme d'habitude, on est calé. Comme toujours, ça va aller. On te met l'ambiance à gogo. Tous ensemble, on fait le show.
On t'invite à la magie, y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis, et viens faire la folie.
On t'invite à la magie, y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis. Oh, 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 oh. C'est pas seulement pour les bobos. Nous on vient dans nos mambo. Mon ami, si tu as le niveau, rejoins-nous pour t'enjailler.
On t'invite à la magie, y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis, et viens faire la folie.
On t'invite à la magie, y a pas de raccourci. Oublie tes soucis. Oh, 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 oh. Ah ouais, Magic System.
Toujours nous.
Ah, ça change pas.
Ah ouais.
Ah, Shaoki avec Red One. Est-ce que ça marche?
Ça va pas.
On vient du ghetto pour aller plus haut. Avec les magiciens, c'est le wedding. Oh, oh, oh. On vient du ghetto pour aller plus haut. Avec les magiciens. Oh, oh, oh.
La pelota Dybala, ahora a ver, allí va Messi, ¡ah! Está iluminado, está tocado, es el mejor.
Morning, guys. One of the greatest things I've learned in my life, and I want to share this with you in case you are going through a very difficult time right now. Our difficulties, our struggles, our pains, our challenges, all that darkness, that is where we find out what we're made of, why we were born. See, we were born in darkness. We were born in the womb. We came out of nowhere, and we are miracles. But we have to remember that. And the reason why we are miracles and we are meant to live with purpose is because we have that energy, that determination that will not stop. If we make that decision to take whatever is happening to us and change the way we think and what we do about it. So whatever you're going through right now, if you're going through a really tough time, a dark time, a challenging time, I want you to remember your determination, it's meant to come out of your darkness. Have a great day, everyone.
You are wired differently, and that's both your greatest strength and your biggest challenge. Science shows that some people are born with a brain that makes them restless, impulsive, and always chasing the next big thing. But what makes you unstoppable can also make you self-destructive if you don't learn how to control it. In this interview, Doug Brackman explains why driven entrepreneurs like you struggle with imposter syndrome, boredom, and self-sabotage, and how you can turn your natural wiring into an advantage. He shares that your brain is built for risk and adaptability, but that same wiring can leave you feeling alone, misunderstood, and never satisfied. He reveals why traditional meditation often doesn't work for you and how learning to stay fully present through high-focused activities like shooting or movement-based practices can help you take back control. He also challenges you to own your wolf instincts and become a shepherd instead of a predator, using your power to lead rather than destroy. Success alone will never be enough. Mastering yourself is the real game, because if you don't, you'll tear down everything you've built. Special thanks to Jeff Hayes for partnering with us to release this content exclusively on our YouTube channel. And if you make it to the end of the video, put a hashtag Believe in the comments below, and we might feature you here in a future video. Believe.
Doug, very much looking forward to this conversation. We started to have it before we turned on the cameras. I'm like, no, stop. We got to save this for the audience to listen to. So thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So let's talk about your background. First, you've got a PhD in what?
Yeah, way too much education. It's a testimony to how insecure I actually am. So I actually have 2 PhDs. I have a dual doctorate in both clinical psychology and industrial organizational psychology.
That's an interesting one. What does that mean?
So IOPsych is it's really understanding team dynamics within an organization and testing. And so it's a lot about personnel selection, was real heavy. So it's a lot about understanding how to measure people. And so it combined with the clinical degree, and it was an incredible education. You come out of a politically correct clinical course, and everybody's real careful about everybody's emotions, and then you go into a org psych class and it's just about reality, KPIs, about making money. So it was a really nice, and this was early 90s, mid 90s. So it was before the whole, PC went crazy. It
Right.
was starting to, and it gave me a very realistic expectation about what to expect in the coming years in my profession. So it's been a great education.
So what made you want to go in that direction in the first place?
No matter what any psychologist ever tells you, people get into psychology to figure out their own shit.
Okay.
And so I'm a high school dropout, lived in a car for a minute and figured out pretty quickly that left to my own devices, the impulsivity and this ADD spectrum thing that I am could kill me and would kill me. And so I quickly, at 18, figured out that was not the path I wanted to go down. And so jumped into education, trying to figure out what the hell was going on with me. And so it's been an amazing experience the past 35 years.
Wow. Now, in the entrepreneurial circles, you're known for a lot of things, but one of them is the book Driven. Talk to me about Driven. Why did you write it, and what's that about?
So it's a culmination of 25, 30 years of basically trying to understand myself and, this addictive personality and this understanding that There's a reason why, there's variance within the herd of human beings. And some of us, somewhere between 3, 5, 8% of us have a genetic, biological, neurological difference that is real. And so in 1991, the year I entered graduate school, they came out with the Time magazine article of, the alcoholism genes, and we found it. And within 3 or 4 years, they quickly deduced that was the dopamine receptor number 2, DRD2-A1 allele gene. This was before the field of epigenetics, and this was, the argument about nature versus nurture. It was still pretty strong, meaning that they assumed that genetics played a huge role in how we turned out as human beings. Now we find, that it really is it nature versus nurture? The answer is yes. You can't take them apart. But back then, they were looking for the causes of why, genetically, there's this continuation of addictive personalities and addictive genes. But that dopamine receptor number 2, within 5 years, is gambling, eating disorders, entrepreneurship, and high performing athletes. And so they're like, wait a second, what the hell is going on? As I was just diving into this and feeling personally, since I was 2nd grade, 3rd grade, that I knew I was different. I knew there was something different about me. And the 2nd grade experience I always talk about is sitting there in 2nd grade and not understanding why the rest of the class didn't see how stupid it was being trained to be a assembly line worker.
Right.
Like, I didn't get it.
Right.
Like, why are we memorizing math tables? Like, this is not going to serve me. And so that curiosity and feeling like I was different started to have some real explanations in the 90s as they cracked the human genome. But since that time, it's just been a phenomenal time to be a psychologist. So, that started this exploration for myself of really understanding, and all of that landed in Driven.
And it's so in Driven, and your co-author was who?
Randy Kelly, who's still in my world. He's finally escaping California and moving out. But
like you did?
Yeah, I did 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And so he was a Bujinkan. He was a martial arts instructor of mine. And we were becoming very fast friends, and explaining to him my theory. And he was a Navy SEAL sniper, and I had been a long time competitive shooter, and so Randy, I got this idea of let's integrate long range shooting and meditation.
Right.
And he's like, I'm in. And so he was coming out of grad school at the time. Right. So we started taking entrepreneurs to teach them really the power of meditation. And how to hone this skill, this gift that we have as Drivens, is what I call them. So it evolved into, and really trying to rebrand myself away from being a typical psychologist.
When you say you use that term, you call them Drivens. What does that mean? What's that description?
So I always throw out to Tom Hartman, who a book I read. Early 90s, he wrote a book about his kid, and he talked about how his kid, profound ADD, ADHD, and just didn't fit into school, was having a hell of a time at school, and as a dad was concerned and wanted to normalize it. And so he started talking about, and his theory, that he looked at germs, and within a population of germs, there's always 3, 4, 5% on the fringes that are anticipating rapid change in the environment. And so they're prepared for, temperature goes up, temperature goes down. They're not as effective in that environment. But if the environment changes, they're the ones that are going to survive.
Okay.
And so you think about entrepreneurs, we are the ones who will survive when the next ice age comes.
Is that resilience, adaptability, kind of all the above? What is it?
So, yeah, part of this constellation. So let me just give you Driven. And here it is, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, the agricultural revolution really started to take off. Prior to this, most human beings were running around in little family groups of 40, 60, 80. And we were jack of all trades. You know, we had to be able to pack, we had to be able to, you know, hunt, we had to be able to sew, we had to be able to do all these things. But as the agricultural revolution took off, job specialization and also communities, you know, these massive communities started to develop. And my theory is the brain started to adapt along with it. And so one of the most profound continuous features of ADD, ADHD, you put normals in a functional MRI, you have a very nice, active, and connected executive function in the frontal lobe. You put the Drivens in a functional MRI, very interesting, the back of our heads light up. So the occipital lobe becomes much more dominant, and we have this hypofrontality. It's not underactive, it's just differently active frontal lobe. And so very simply, you know, Drivens use eyesight to go through the world, and then we have this frontal lobe that encourages multi-thinking, meaning that we, you know, an executive function of the brain literally is a linear experiential machine that tells you what to do next.
Right.
And if you think about a farmer, you know, hunter versus farmer theory, the hunters are constantly looking for opportunities, where the farmers are literally looking for the next thing they need to do that will increase their likelihood of survival. You put your finger in the ground, you put corn in it, you cover it up, you water it, you patiently wait, and then it grows, and then you save enough for next year. And so all of those qualities, as the society grew and grew and grew, you see that that is what's typical in the normal population. And you look at a W-2 job, and that's my joke is I'm unemployable.
Yeah.
You know, I can't sit in a cubicle and do the same thing every day.
Right.
Because it makes my brain frazzled.
Right.
Where 90+% of the population, they find comfort and predictability in that. And
Yeah. So the entrepreneur are the Drivens as you're describing it, and they literally neurobiologically seem to behave differently.
And so that is the primary feature, is that they have a different brain structure. The reward system is also different, and that's the DRD2 gene, and that's a boredom gene. And you know, what is boredom is there's, you know, this physiological arousal that triggers the neocortex, telling us that there's something missing or wrong. And the more interesting one, because it settles in me a little bit more, is this dopamine receptor number 4. And I call that the FOMO gene. It's the fear of missing out gene. Time Magazine did a phenomenal article on, or not Time, National Geographic. They called it the wandering gene. And so that's a much older genetic. It goes back 40, 50,000 years. They can trace it. And it's this gene that kicked in. You have this huddle of people in the middle of Africa. This gene kicks in, and it tells this, you know, physiological system that there's more woolly mammoths over the next hill. The grass is greener somewhere else. Right. And so, you know, entrepreneurship, this shiny object syndrome, always chasing the next, you know, thing, is the core of what we are. But, and you know, where I get most of my clinical work now, and the clinical side of my, you know, the clinical side of my psychology, is that the sense of self. If you think about what a farmer is, when they come into this culture where jobs are designed for a very specific and unique quality. So you have, you know, butchers and bakers and candlestick makers, and the brain to support that. And so this is what I do, and this is what I am. And that's my joke about entrepreneurship. You ask an entrepreneur who they are, it's a path to hell because you can't figure it out. But underneath that is this chronic feeling of discontent.
Yeah.
That there's something missing or wrong. And that something missing or wrong turns into a potential ball of shame. And there's something missing or wrong with me. And you know, you hear very commonly the imposter syndrome, where the outer world literally is better than it feels. And so, you know, it's my joke about my doctoral dissertation. Jim Spira, first time ever to be called doctor. Congratulations, Dr. Brackman. My inner experience was, haha, he bought it.
Wow.
my multi-thinking brain can think about every little corner I cut and every, because I expected it to feel good and it didn't.
So this is, and I'm relating to a lot of what you're saying. And I guess that's why the book, I think, helped entrepreneurs to understand their experience.
That was my hope of the book, is to really normalize what we are, that we're not broken. We feel broken.
Yeah.
Sit down. Let's do our V-shaped stretch by reaching for the floor as far away from your body as you can. Hold it for 10. And reach for one side. Hold it there. And switch the other side. Okay, feet together, and gently push your knees down to your elbows. Hold it there. Again, enjoy fully the process of what we're doing. Working on our bodies and working on our minds. In every stretch, every movement, every thought. Okay, one leg forward, one leg back. Keep the knee on the ground, go as far back as you can. And switch, other side. As far back as you can, hold that knee down. Always reach. Going for a little bit more than you did last time. Alright, okay, and legs crossed. Actually, before we do that, let's roll onto our bellies. And let's push the floor and look up at the sky or ceiling. Hold it for 10. Here we go. Alright, and now legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Focused on our breathing. Tapping into that power. That power to see first in your mind what you want to bring out into the world. That's our determination, our greatest power ever. Always available to us. So right now I'm going to see myself doing the best I can to hold the plank position for one song, and then the best I can to hold my side plank positions for the rest of the other song. 2 songs today for me. What about you? What are you going to see in your mind? What exercise are you going to visualize right now? You know, visualize yourself doing your best dance, your best jog, your best squats, your best sit-ups, your best jumping jacks, whatever it is. See in your mind right now before you bring it out into the world. Okay, here I go, plank position, holding it as long as I can. Here we go. What about you? What are you working on right now? Whatever you're doing, do it to the best of your ability and feel the joy. Feel the power of you loving what you're doing right now. That's why I love the gym of life. It goes wherever we go. Whether we're at school, whether we're at work, at home, have that power. We have that power to control our minds, to do our best on whatever it is we're doing. Whether it's a plank, whether it's sitting down, your legs crossed, your back straight, meditating, whether it's reading a book, whether it's being your best, kind to your friends, your family, do it with everything you got, with every part of your being. You were born to do that. No matter what's going on around you, you control what goes on inside your mind, and therefore what goes on in your body. Always remember your breathing. Control your breathing. I love the joy of feeling that moment when it comes, when my body wants to quit, when the discomfort is getting to be too much. And then I stand in that space, I get to determine it. I get to choose. I get to make the winning choice. That's determination. To keep going as much as I can, a little bit more than last time. I feel my muscles achy, trembling. But I get to choose. No, I get to determine. I get to make the winning choice of not giving up, no matter what. And if I do choose and lose, I give up, I get to come back again and again, every single time. It's the same power you have. We all have. No matter what. Alrighty.
Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Gon' throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. Let's have some fun. To the left now. To the right. Now take your left hand and put it on your side. Gon' roll your shoulders, do the slip and slide. This next part's my favorite part, cause it's time to shine. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Gon' throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. It's simple, you can do it. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Now cool down, have a good time. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Do the butterfly, have a good time. Round, round, round and round you go. It's time to show out right now and take to the floor. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now. Gon' throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. Take it down now, take it down now. Take it down now, take it down now. Bring it up now, bring it up now. Bring it up now, bring it up now. Take it down and crisscross. Bring it up now, crisscross. Do whatever you like right here. Just have fun. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Gon' throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it. That was not so bad. That was not so bad, was it? That was not so bad. That was not so bad, was it? That was not so bad. That was not so bad, was it? That was not so bad. That was not so bad, was it? Gonna wanna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with 'em. Do the hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down, take a sip with it. Now lean back, put your hips in it.
Deflection helped it through to Messi. He goes around the keeper.
Forward, setting Messi.
Morning, guys. Today in our top 10 rules for success, Les Brown shares with us his 7th rule, and that is do more than what you're paid for. So Les Brown shares with us a story of his life and a former job he had, a former boss he was working for, and how he had let this person, these outside conditions, consume him and anger him and make him feel frustrated. Until one day he just thought, Les Brown thought, you know what? I got to make this happen. I got to take what's happening to me and change my life. And so he started working harder. He started getting up earlier. He started working later. Again, doing the things that he knew would help make him self-determining. He knew he wanted to take that pain, that anger, that outside condition, that person caused him, and flip it and make it work for his life. You have that power too. Whatever it is, whatever you think is causing you pain outside of you, within you, you can take it, make a decision, and do great things with it. Have a great day, everyone.
And, we walk into a farmer's psychology office and we look crazy, because we're all over the map. We're impulsive. We're this, we're that. We never feel like we're good enough. And we don't have a sense of identity that they relate to.
I'm actually working on a book right now. One of the chapters is called Identity is and it is, right? So we'll put that aside for a moment. But the idea of feeling different than everybody else is common to the entrepreneur. And in some ways, it's a badge of courage, right? They're like, hey, we're a special breed. But in some ways, it can be self-defeating.
And that was my doctoral dissertation, was self-sabotage.
Ah, okay.
And so it is part of every entrepreneur's story, and if I can get them there, that the only real problem most entrepreneurs have is themselves. And being able to own and, not master yourself, but be on a path of mastery to where you are really owning what you're doing and why you're doing it, and what you are. And that piece, we are the ones that went west. We are the ones that, and no matter how you feel about it, this is what you are.
Right.
Well, make me normal. Make me like one of them. I hear that not as often as I used to, but it's still this, I don't want to be what I am.
Right.
And it's not a choice. I mean, this is what we are.
Well, and also from the psychiatric standpoint, you find kids who are ADD, ADHD, and they're putting them on Ritalin. They're looking at it as abnormality, and maybe even psychopathology. And saying it requires medication, to solve. So so they've got that all wrong.
Completely wrong. And that's the new book I'm working on is the importance of actually, as we are AI and all of this new rapid change that's happening, back to what Hartman said, we are the ones who are adaptable.
Yeah.
We are the ones who are going to make sense of these changes in the world. And just coming through COVID, you look at what most people did was they retreated to a narrative that made them feel safe.
Right.
We're driven. We don't do that. We see through it. One of the things that we do, we hate hypocrisy.
Yeah.
We are literally made to see through people's games. and we're also the ones playing them on people. So it's we are both the solution and the curse. So it's that is the core of this new book that I'm writing.
What's the title of the new book, if you have it?
So it's sheep, wolves, and shepherds.
Okay, so what's the theme like?
So part of my journey has been trauma healing. Literally by accident, walked into Peter Levine's world back in the early 2000s, right after I graduated, got my PhD, and absolutely blew my mind.
And who's Peter Levine?
Peter Levine is one of the most famous trauma experts in the world. Mm-hmm. He wrote, I don't know how many books he's up to now, half a dozen or a dozen books about very specifically how trauma is held in the body, released in the body, and restores goodness. It is he calls it somatic experiencing, but it's a way of actually rewriting the genetic imprint of trauma in the body. It is incredibly powerful. And the model I use, all of the models I use in therapy for changing people is based upon his research and his training. So understanding that who's really in charge of us. And, I teach a very specific model about, I'll give it to you. The Buddha, who was just a wacko psychologist, noticed very much that human beings are like an Indian elephant with a whole bunch of monkeys up on top trying to control this elephant. This comes out of my doctoral dissertation. This is why January sucks at the gym. Yeah. Because everybody's monkey mind has temporary control over the elephant. Yeah. And you got a gorilla up here beating the elephant going, go to the gym, go to the gym, go to the gym. But you got other monkeys up here. You got little cheerleaders. You got other ones up there that are, that sit on the couch monkey. And this ability to actually discern the difference between the monkey and the elephant is the core.
And what's the nature of the elephant?
That's our flesh. It is the reptilian and low base mammalian brain. It's literally everything below your nose. So you touch a hot stove, every cell in that nerve pathway remembers that experience, hits the spine, and the spine, the original brain, original mind, sends back an impulse to contract muscles. And that all the muscles remember that. And so if you think about getting burned on a stove, you can feel a little bit of that trauma stuck in the body. Yeah. And it keeps us alive. But it is, human beings are operating in two different worlds, one up here and one down here. This was my doctoral dissertation, was really who's in control of us. Okay. And so this elephant, seems to have a mind of its own, but most of the time, and this was back in the early 90s, mid-90s when I was writing my dissertation, huge argument about, self-will and who's really in control and the unconscious and functional MRIs and all of that have put this to rest. The elephant's really in charge. So the classic Buddha question is, where are you? Are you the monkeys or are you the elephant? Do you know?
And so now the question is, and that we're back to identity thing.
So the identity piece, and this is the key of it, because it steps into spirituality very quickly, because it's the answer is both, obviously, and neither.
Well, who's observing them both?
That's the piece, is that observer, so we, 50,000, 80,000 years of writing about this, of, mind, body, and soul. Right. And that's my joke. Anybody ever tell you they got the soul figured out, run, it's a cult. And so, but that is this shift. Yeah. That if I can get the entrepreneur, get the drivens, and drivens seem to know this very, very well, where, sheep, coming back to full circle, and trauma, what my theory is that most people, are out of their body, and, when does trauma come up? And that's the key to this. And why don't zebras have ulcers? Is because they go back into a safe herd. And, so Sebastian Junger and tribes and all of that, our safe herd is gone. And so what do we come back to is we come back to a hurt that's resonating on a similar level of trauma. And then we come up with a monkey mind narrative to keep that trauma stuck in the loop. And then we live in these echo chambers of hate and anger and frustration, keeping us stuck.
Is that at the root of self-sabotage many times?
That is the root of self-sabotage. Is that, you know, these operating systems want two very different things. This thing up here, you can imagine cell phones and, you know, the world we're in, where this thing wants the familiar.
Yeah.
And so you get too familiarly good, what happens is you sabotage back its baseline. You get, you know, too much of a show. You get your life together to a point.
And it's almost self-sabotage in the entrepreneurial world is almost cliche, right? I mean, it's like everybody has that experience. And the question is, you know, are some people able to get past it and some people just in the cycle of destruction?
Well, that is the core of this soul awareness. Because the soul, or this observing ego, whatever you want to call it, has the capacity to actually see reality. Less emotionalize, I'll say it, you know, that you can see the other side of the cup. And that's the classic example I always give, cup and handle. You know, we're all living in different realities.
Yeah.
From my side, I don't see the handle. From your side, you do. If I hate cups without handles, and I'm stuck in my emotion, and you gave me this cup, there's no way to actually have a relationship. So I have to be able to step out of my emotion, see that, apply that to sabotage. And, you know, as I say every day to all my entrepreneurs, good enough is not a feeling. Because nothing will ever feel good enough to the entrepreneur, to those with these genetics and this curse. It turns it into a gift. What is good enough?
Is that the reason why so many people, once they succeed, they really don't even take time to celebrate, on to the next thing?
And I could have called the book a shame-based personality type. It wouldn't have sold very many. I could have called the book, you know, the trauma-based personality, because Peter Levine calls us globally high actives. No matter what, we're globally in this central, you know, sympathetic arousal and just driven constantly. Why? It's because when we slow down, the trauma starts to pile up.
So it's another form of addiction in some respects. You're trying to just cover up for trauma.
It is addiction. And so is it, you know, what makes it a problem? Well, addictions are bad. No. We wouldn't be here watching all of this if somebody wasn't addicted to making a better camera.
Right.
And so it's a gift and a curse. It's when you can't slow down, you know, and have the observer strength or the, you know, soul strength to be able to manage what's happening in the body.
Is that the virtue of meditation then? Is that where that comes in? So you do this weird, sorry for characterization, call it
Next song, I'm going to hold the side plank position for one side and then side plank to the other side. Just for one moment. How about you? You proud of yourself so far? Keep going, everybody. Keep going. Keep moving. Moving is winning. Doing our best is winning. Wherever we are, whatever we're doing. That's the gym of life. Here we go. You can feel free to do what I'm doing, or again, if you want to decide to do something else, something that you want to improve on from last time, an exercise, whatever it is, keep doing it, keep going, do your best, try to do a little bit better than last time. That's the word. You get to use it wherever you go, wherever you are. You get to determine, you get to win. You get the winning, accurate, kind, peaceful, loving, positive choice. Keep going. Keep finding out how unlimited you really are. I'm just trying to hold my body in a plank position. One elbow down, other arm left side of my body, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm lifted off here. side too. That'll be fine. Exercise for today. People, you keep going, whatever you're doing. You're dancing, you're doing jumping jacks, you're doing push-ups, sit-ups, squats, whatever it is. Other side now. Gotta hold it for the duration of the song. If not, I'm gonna keep going. And if I fall down, I'll stop. Right back up. I'm always doing my best. Always seeking and strive for my best. For our best. The more I do my best, the more I believe others around me are going to do their best. And that holds for you. That's how powerful we are. You do your best right now, wherever you are, whatever exercise you're doing. It's the same process. Look at other people to be inspired by. It's really simple. Just live, be your best. Be your true being. Don't let negativity, don't let fear, don't let pain, discomfort, stop for people going. But find out your pure joy. All through your body and your mind together as one. Not over. Back up. To the side. Keep going until the music stops. Don't stop. Keep going. All right. Excellent job.
I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the bag, like this attached. The head is matted black, got the bushes black to match. I ain't on a horse, you can whip your Porsche. I've been in the valley, you been up off that road. Ain't nobody tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Riding on the tractor, lean all in my blade. GD on my blade, you can go and ask. I like this a movie, we're riding. Cowboy acting Gucci, anchor on my blade. Ain't nobody tell me nothing. Ain't nobody tell me nothing.
Living like a rock star, spending a lot of money on my brand new guitar. It's got a habit, diamond rings and Fendi sports bras. Riding down Rodeo in my Maserati sports car. Got no stress, I've been through all that. Run like a Marlboro man, so I keep on that. Wish I could go home back to that old town road. I wanna ride till I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more.
Away, head is up, surveying the options, going alone might be the best of them. No, it's Neymar who unselfishly returns the heart. Messi.
Guys, I want to share with you a personal experience that will highlight the power of determination, which I fully realized in this moment of my life. I'm going to take you back to when my first daughter was born, and at that moment where she was arriving into this world, and I don't want to get into all the graphic details, but my wife demonstrated just how powerful we are when we make a decision, when we find that motivation. And I think this is perfect for living our way to infinite mind wealth. Remembering that in a moment we can show that determination. So when they threatened my wife with a C-section because it was a challenging delivery, I will never forget the one last roar and push that came out to bring our beautiful daughter into this world. And I thought that spirit, that decision in that moment, what if we could channel that every single day and every decision we make? It's possible. Have a great day, everyone.
Unusual thing, I would say weird, you probably call it weird too, but where you meditate at gunpoint, I think you call it, right? So talk about
That's my tagline. I teach people to meditate at gunpoint.
Right.
Very simply, there is no recoil in the present. And so discernment between the monkey and the elephant, and being able to experience the elephant, anticipating recoil, is a flinch. Golf hit. I worked with pro golf for a long time. And being able to actually be present, feeling that hitch, and then the more present you are, it goes away. There is no sabotage in the present. There isn't. There's no emotion in the present. And so that ability to actually feel that resistance or impulse melt is meditation. You know, and I always teach that meditation is so misunderstood. And most meditations are created by farmers for farmers, where tell an entrepreneur to close their eyes and imagine a peaceful field. It literally sends them to hell because they can't.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. So it's always eye-open meditation, and more importantly, it's applied. So meditation is about reality checking your central nervous system. It is what's happening in the elephant, in accurate reflection of my immediate reality. And it's an impossible question to answer, but in the curious exploration as you look around, you'll feel a byproduct of this practice is a calming of the central nervous system. It'll calm down to the edge of your bandwidth. You know, I worked a bunch with the Navy SEALs, Navy Special Warfare for a long time, and you'll calm down to the point where my guard is no longer safe, even though it is safe. But I don't feel safe. And that once you can get that massive insight, safety's not a feeling, but it's safety. Safety's reality in the present moment. Like we're safe right now, right here, nowhere else. And that's because most people's elephants are being run around by a whole bunch of monkeys. You're an entrepreneur, and you've got peanuts over here that are chronically discontent. And chronically looking that shiny thing over the horizon, and dragging the elephant all over the place, and you'll miss life.
So there, I guess, where there's your mind over matter can be a virtue, could also be vice.
Exactly. And that I say it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
More importantly, we are needed in this world. It's a call to action. This book I'm writing, it is a call to action to really own what we are. We are special. We are unique. We are needed for this rapidly changing world.
We're needed in what way?
So shepherding sheep. Literally, because drivens, affectionately call us, are also the problem in this world. Because we become addicted to power, we become addicted to money, and we put that in front of the betterment of humanity. And it is the battle between the wolves and the shepherds was what I see coming.
And just so everybody's on the same page, the sheep are the general population. The wolves are the entrepreneurs. And the shepherds are maybe the evolved entrepreneurs or mindful.
So it's an entrepreneur that knows how much of a wolf they can really be.
Self-aware entrepreneur.
Self-aware.
Okay.
And it's owning your wolf and working on it. Not just trauma healing and medicine work that's just rapidly evolved. Which medicine does not work. Work comes right after. I always go down after.
The whole documentary series, like psychedelic field, and everybody who knew what they're talking about said exactly what they said.
It's trauma healing.
Yeah.
And what is trauma healing? Trauma healing is the ability to sit with the horrible sensations coming from your body, but stay in reality with the observing what you're saying. And that's one of my teachers always said, this is 100 million years of organic intelligence. For me, 55 years of it. It's that ability to get out of the way of what your body already knows how to do. That is meditation. And meditation is not sitting and relaxing. It's about being with and staying here.
So not to get too philosophical, but I think this requires some philosophical premises. Is there consciousness in the body in the way that you're talking about it, or is it just bring awareness to what the body experiences?
So it's called the interior section, and so we have her section, the outer world, and we have an interior or internal section.
I love that phrase. I've never heard that term before.
It's body awareness. So if you're a 20-year meditator like me, and you're familiar with Chinese medicine or traditional Chinese medicine, I can track energy path through the meridians of my body and feel the itches and everything. It can get pretty remarkable when you become aware of your body.
Yeah.
And so it's the consciousness in the body, and that is good question. I think it's expanding consciousness, and I think consciousness is unlimited. I'm very young in my understanding of consciousness. Consciousness is a independent entity, and it's life itself.
Yeah.
But I truly think it's a universal force of life. Then you have a universal force, opposite force of death or decay.
Right.
And they're perfect balance with each other. It's kind of my understanding of God.
Yeah.
So it's
Entropy and syntropy.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating. Here's what you're doing that's unique, I think, about what people love your book and your books and your presentations is that you're identifying the idiosyncrasies of an entrepreneur. And I'm referring, and tell me if I'm wrong, that in your model, entrepreneurs are born, they're not developed.
For the most part, my imposter syndrome is so bad. It has been forever.
What is imposter syndrome?
So it's feeling like I'm a phony. Feeling like I'm not really an expert in anything.
So what people believe about you and what you believe about yourself.
The inner world experience of me is not matching the outer world experience of what people see when they look at me.
Has that to do with volition at all? Meaning, are you trying to be a imposter, or are you just observing that this is the dynamic?
It's this dynamic, and it's just part of what it means to be reward deficiency.
Yeah.
I think it should feel different.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So it's nuts.
Right.
But because of that, gift of so insecure, I actually created a written assessment, 55 questions, validated, across the United States, and now scared to tackle the crap. What am I going to find? And I got the results back and it's real.
No matter what anybody tells you, it doesn't matter. You still have that internal experience.
But it's not alone.
No, I don't think
it was so relieving to see. And are we different in 10 different areas, big picture thinking, resilience, and all of these, adaptabilities, these qualities that we have. Are we born of them?
Yeah.
Yes. Are they? Is it nature versus nurture? The answer is yes. You know, in my childhood, fostered a lot of impulsivity, a lot of parents were very parent. And so, and I older brothers and younger brothers were nuts. Mom and going crazy. It was an amazing childhood. But it led to, you know, path destruction very quick. So someone else who has, you know, I did podcasts and interview all these entrepreneurs and what was your childhood like? Right. And every once in a while you find involved, you know, driven parent gets to it and gives them the freedom they need. It teaches them it is our farmer's world.
Yeah.
I mean, most people are not like us. And so if you gotta learn to fit in at least well enough to stick out.
And you said I think 4 to 7% is kind of the estimate.
It depends how you find it somewhere in there.
And it's probably higher percentage in the United States than other places just because of who came here.
It's literally, you know, we're the ones who got on the boat. We're the ones who got a bunch of pink lines. It's like eating mushrooms and going out and conquering things. It is, but it's what we are, right? You know, so it is, and there's no matter how you look at this is what we are. Yeah. And can it be alone? Can it be, you know, can you have it all? You know, a question that, well, you know, yeah, you can. Yeah. You really can.
Yeah, and I think actually, I wrote about this is one of the bad premises I adopted from mentors, young entrepreneurs, that success requires sacrifice. So every time I wanted to succeed more, I had to look at what I sacrificed to succeed in a sense. And I didn't change them from you can't have it all.
Yeah.
But it's not easy. You got
to work. But it work in the right way. You know, and as drivens, we hate waiting time, but we're the most I'm waiting people on that. And so this fishing thing and meditation, when you really learn how to just drop it or just your journey emails, just within what we are, home, gift. It is our farmer's world. We're wired for it's impossible to survive in. We're wired mammoths and cave bears and here we are in this world where it's never safer. So we are fish out of water. But we don't have to make our lives hard because of that.
Well, and that's sort of the question that's occurring for me is most entrepreneurs, and I'd say myself included in this particular statement, we actually like the idea that we're different. We think normalcy is something that would be just like the most, terrible, that'd be hell, and, but is there a childhood side of that creates trauma, that is the trauma that might be?
So I get in trouble for this one. So there's 2 wiring systems within the body. And one is up here, runs through the inner ear, comes down through the jaw, through the larynx, across the vocal cords into the heart, and it's the ventral vagal. And then we have the other branch, the dorsal vagal, runs down the back, goes into our guts. This is for herding animals, H-E-R-D animals, and it's fight, flight. And so sheep, most herds, what happens when a cheetah runs into a herd of gazelles is they scatter.
Right.
And you're on your own. Good luck with that.
Every man for themselves.
We're drivens, the pack animals. We are like a wolf pack. And what happens when a bear attacks one of the wolves is I've got your back.
Right.
And I've sat in those groups where, the missing man formation in the Navy SEAL team is one of the hardest groups I've ever sat in.
What does that mean?
They'd lose somebody. I mean, the bonds that are made within, a driven wolf pack are unbelievable. Like we truly will kill for each other. But the entrepreneur that has experience after experience after experience of partners and employees and God, why don't you have my back? I'd give the world for you. And yet when things got tough, you out of there. And so often, entrepreneurs just give up on people.
Yeah.
And that trauma that comes from that, of really being alone in this world and also feeling like you see entrepreneurship. I've got a host of people that I've lost, suicide. It just, because it's hard to be an entrepreneur, combined with this inner world experience of aloneness. We are really, it was one of the hardest neglected traumas out there.
My personal experience is how true what you're saying is about, especially the Wolfpack. I was in an accountability group with 4 other guys, and sometimes it was 6, or 4 of us or 6 of us all together. And that was the whole point. We were committed. It was the number one priority in our weeks was that we're going to be together on that call every single week. But it was also, when I, at one point, was having a pretty significant challenge in the business I was running then, one of the guys, the questions asked, who had special expertise in solving my problem, was on a plane from Dallas to New Jersey and was in my office the next day.
Yeah.
And we would all do the same for each other. And somebody came to the call, they had a particular problem, we dropped the agenda, and we all just, so it was that experience, and that was probably, one of the best experiences of my life, and just give me all those things that you're talking about and how important that was. And, the commitment to each other in that way kind of transcends, the way that we experience the world generally, and it gave meaning to everything, saying, wow, I have a purpose and I'm serving other people, and I know that they got my back too.
Yeah. And
let's bring it back. Let's connect our breathing to our body, to our mind, to our energy. To our energy of determination. That's right. We determine. We don't choose and lose, give up, believe lies, give in to fear. We don't do that. We don't give in to anxiety, stress, things that are not the truth of who we are. The way you did your best today, whatever exercises, stretches you chose to do, it's the same process you get to use here, now, wherever you go. In the gym of life, you get to grow your mind. You get to grow your mind health and your mind wealth. It's all possible if you determine, make the winning choice to be kind, to be peaceful, caring, loving, appreciative, grateful for everything you have here and now. I'm so grateful for my breath right now. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for our being, what we all truly are. I'm proud of my effort today, and I hope you are proud of yours. Because that effort, that process, that determination you use, it's available to you all the time. It's your greatest gift. So don't ever give up on using your determination.